Notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 12th, 2018, revised by email on August 13th, 2018.
Thanks, Kate. Roll call, please.
Mayor Coles?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Here.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Here.
Let the record reflect that Committeeman Ackerman is absent. Committeeman Delia?
Here. Okay, thanks. Everybody rise for a salute to the flag. Please remain standing for prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we pause to give our thanks for thy many blessings. We ask thy blessing upon this township committee and all those in authority so that they may serve the people. All this we ask in thy name. Amen.
Move open. Move. Second by Mayor, second by Minaj. All in favor? Aye. All right, we have a motion to approve the executive, workshop, and regular minutes of July 12th, 2018 meeting.
Mayor, before
Yes,
I
sir.
second that, there were two of us who were not here at that meeting, so I'm not sure how it gets moved.
That's okay, there's enough to move it, just abstain on the vote.
Okay.
But there was
So I can move it? And then abstain on?
Anybody can move it. just
All right, I'll
abstain.
second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Yeah.
Steve, you had something to say about the public land sale?
Yes, Mayor, if I might, the public land sale and also ordinance, second reading M1, I did a little bit more research and I'm not comfortable with doing those two things at this meeting. So I would ask that the public land sale be canceled this evening and that M1 ordinance, they both have the same issue that I'm not comfortable with, that not go forward.
Okay. Okay, so moving on, we have no presentations or ordinances for discussion. At this point, I'll open the meeting to the public. Anybody who'd like to be heard, please come to the microphone. Please state your name. You can pass through. Without the yell from the back. State your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 4 minutes.
Walter, I know the clock doesn't start until I say something. Walter Lucas, Newport Avenue, Lakewood. The diagram, by the way, I had my graphics department put this together. The traffic on Cross Street, I live there, and I think just a minor improvement will really, the problem will not go away, but it'll really make a significant difference. What happens with folks, if you look at my little handy diagram, people going west to east on Cross Street, all right? When they hit James Street, if a person is there making a left-hand turn, he blocks up a quarter mile of traffic. Simple as that. So you could look there, and in red, there's a traffic light. See the little. All right. If you were the county, I don't know who's responsible, but if they just put a little 50-foot section there, all of a sudden those quarter mile of traffic is going to disappear. Yes.
Actually, Mayor and I were at the county last week talking about things, and this is actually one of them.
Okay.
Even though the county does plan on widening the road in the near future,
Yeah.
they did promise us that in the next couple of months, was it, Mayor?
They said
It will come in.
before the winter.
Yeah, if they did that now, what an immense
That's
difference.
what they're going to do.
What an
They're
immense-
trying to
okay.
come in and put some turning lanes in where they can squeeze them in to alleviate some of the traffic now in advance of when they come in and widen the road.
Okay, similar at Prospect.
Same thing.
What happened at James originally, the county came in and put in a stoplight, a traffic light. And when they put that traffic light in, they put curbs. Now nobody can go around. So essentially you could do that before without a formal proper lane.
That's what they promised us they would do.
Okay. The
That,
traffic
several
light.
locations along
Prospect,
in Prospect.
Mayor, if you remember Prospect, they said they may have a problem with the railroad tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave us a hard time with it. We actually, through the chair, if I may, a year ago, I told the county, with the committee's permission through the chair, that we'll come ourselves and pave it. We don't need your help, we'll just
Yeah,
do it. But
Again,
it
I'm
was
there
very
every
like
day and
that.
I see it, and that'll, what a big difference. The next thing is
They
that
said
traffic
they're gonna
light.
help us.
Okay, next thing is the traffic light. And I can't believe this has not been fixed. That traffic light it lets, when it's green on Cross Street, it stops James Street, right? Red. even for funerals, it stops. What it does do, when it turns green on James, all right, it stops Cross Street. After it does that for about 10 to 15 seconds, it stops both James and Cross and allows 10 to 15 seconds for Franklin. And there's only one house down Franklin. And so someone's got to look at that light. It's been like that forever.
All right, well,
The timing of that
they are
light.
looking into the timing of a lot of lights around town. We'll make sure this is on their list.
But just picture stopping Cross Street for 15 seconds. Nobody's moving. And this one street's open. End of that. One short one in 43 seconds. This has to do with planning board. Within the last week, there were on Cross Street, there were 50 to 100 little kids supervised walking on Cross Street past 4 schools. No curbs, no sidewalks. Walking past, all right, no curbs, no sidewalks. So you can read this in your ledger.
Use that road, you're right.
What prompted me, the first sentence tells you, what prompted me was safety, right? The fire last week in that empty house, right? There's no fences to keep the kids away. I'm sitting there watching the 2 schools across the street. Kids are trying to, get closer looks. Traffic, the fire department, they have like 6, 8, 10 trucks there, right? And no fences, nothing to keep those kids away from danger.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. Since the big changes went through here in the Lakewood Township, I think the traffic...
Name and address for the record first, please.
Again?
We need your name and address.
Oh,
for the
okay.
record.
Moses Heinowitz, 205 Ridge Avenue.
I hate to interrupt people at a compliment, but we have to.
Yes, the traffic got a lot improved. Thank you, all of you, what you did. I think it's moving much quicker. Stop signs takes time till people get to the thing, how it works. So they still yellow, red, but it's getting better, a lot better. Stop signs is really a big help. Some places that you used to wait like 5 minutes just to pass by, now it's really got improved a lot. Now I want to bring up like another issue. I mean, probably it's like this. A lot of bosses, they think when they have workers and they just, by the end of the week, they just give them like a little prize. It's Corona, other stuff, or whatever it is. I mean, it looks very cute, but the people don't take it home and drink it at home. That's, if they do it like this, okay. A little okay. The problem is they drink it at the street, and the first thing is if they get into a car, it's usually it's end up with an accident. I mean, like by myself. I mean, I got hit for no reason. My car was parked, and just because he was drunk, smashed up my car, and I was never recovered. And that even my insurance paid most of it, but it's still I'm in loss. I'm gonna say just little things. This Sunday was a big fight on 2nd Street, and I asked around the people if it's any reason why they fight. They steal money. They say no. It's not really just because of drinking, and they got involved and just see that people got kicked or hit or no reason, just because if they steal money, I'm not saying they're right, but they have the right to protect themselves. But it's not that, just because of the little drink, and this is going on and on. I think we have to just talk nicely to come up with something, just to make it aware that it's not so funny that you think it is.
I understand. This along 2nd Street, you're saying is your main concern?
Yeah. My concern is in the whole area, basically at night or in the middle of the day when people are not working and they're doing things that that's when you send kids on 2nd Street and just they're watching this, just it's really anxiety goes up and everything goes up. It's really just Basically, it's, I'm not saying, probably it's a lot of ways how we could educate them, in a nicer way not to do it. I mean, that's what I think.
I hear what you're saying. There's a couple of groups that we could approach to,
That's
see if we
right.
can get some
I mean, you
education.
could enforce it, but we even not enforcing it, just let them know about
It's a
it, how
combination
wrong
of
it
the
is. I don't see any no talking about it, and I don't see anybody to try when you see people just drink in the middle of the street. It's starting with 1, but ends up by 50, and that's,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, maybe along those lines, from maybe witnessing, you talk to the chief about maybe some, presence down there on Second Street, Clifton Avenue.
I will, and through the chair, I've done it many times, and it's a recurring problem.
I know.
I actually never thought of the idea that the gentleman just said, and the mayor just referred to as far as education. It's mostly been enforcement.
We're looking at the education aspect, a lot of the rental units, making sure people know how to take care of them properly. I think this is kind of related to it, so I'll reach out to a couple of folks.
Thank you.
105 Main Street. They talk about my street is graded, how my street was either not planned or just ignored. It's been developed recently, and almost everyone in the block is being affected by extremely bad drainage or the lack of drainage. In the past about 15 months, we had 3 major rainstorms that 3-4 feet in each side before fire or rain. My car was flooded, basements, brand new basements that functioning wrong, been flooded. It just seems extremely poor planning on the township. I don't think it's plans the way it is. There's also a township stormwater drain that's next to my house that needs something maintained. And if it is being maintained, it's a leak or something. It really has to look into the past too much. We had 2 major storms and, this whole brand new house thing will getting hit really hard.
I was going to ask if you would, before you leave your name, address, and contact information with the clerk. I'll have our engineering department reach out to you about the drainage issues there, and I will have Public Works get over there with the back truck just to make sure the drain is clear.
Okay.
Anybody else like to be heard?
Gary Ballwins, Governor's Road. It is understandable that with the many numerous residential developments being built, there are new streets where there used to be vacant land. Emergency personnel must know where to go. The location requires accuracy. The Township Committee renewed their contract with the Police Department for their updated base map with the vendor Data Map Intelligence. Their website applauds their thoroughness of the data they provide to their clients. On the invoices for the last 5 years, and per a resolution you had on your February 2018 meeting, the address is given as 700 Highway 70, Whiting, New Jersey. However, on their website, the address is listed as 5018 South, Route 9 South in Howell. I tried locating this Howell business, only to discover that the prior small strip mall is now demolished and is now the site of a newly constructed building, the future site of Aldi's. Being confused, I Googled the Whiting address, and on the Ocean County Clerk database, it states that it is vacant land of 7 acres owned by Pine Rock Capital, having a Lakewood address associated with the owner of Data Map. Over the last 6 years, the township has paid this vendor over $400,000. The invoices and checks have the Whiting address. My question is, how does the vendor receive his payments? Does he have an automatic direct deposit? Is there a mailbox on Highway 70 near the vacant land? And by the way, I did call the post office in Howell, in Whiting, and they said that if the property is recorded with the county clerk, has an actual address, and pays taxes, it is allowed to put up a mailbox and receive postal service. Or, a third choice, is it still being personally picked up by any individual, as was done in January 2013, where a check for $110,000 was said to give to a certain individual. And is that still being picked up by an individual? It is ironic that a vendor who prides himself for providing up-to-date information on maps with street addresses is negligent in doing so with his own business information. Where can his business be found? And yes, when you go to the website, it does say the Howell address. So, where is this, business located? So the police-based data map contract was increased to $18,000 from $55,000 to $73,000 annual for 2017 and 2018. So how can we be sure the mapping information is truly accurate and up to date when, the man's business isn't listed correctly? And if there is the data with the police-based map, how is it integrated into the patrol car's computer system? Or does the officer in the car use GPS and doesn't really need this information? I guess that's that. I do have another question. In the Cross Street area, there's going to be a big park there. How many acres is that neighborhood park supposed to be?
We haven't decided yet.
Okay,
We're still in the process of acquiring some parcels out there.
Right, I realize.
We're looking at various options for it. So hopefully sometime this year we'll have a little bit better handle on it.
Okay. Any comments about how we pay this
I have no
vendor
complaints
and
about-
this disconnect with his own personal pride and not having updated information? So, how accurate is the
Thank you,
information
Jerry.
we're getting?
Resnick, 22 Sandstown. Right now, there's construction. They knocked down a building on Monmouth by that parking lot third. My question is, when they finish all their construction, are they going to have to redo that parking lot that's falling to pieces?
I'm not sure which parking lot and building you're talking about.
Monmouth and third, there's a parking lot that's owned by the county. Next to the parking lot is, behind the parking lot, they just built stores. Next to the parking lot, they just knocked down stores. And the parking lot is now closed because they're knocking down stores. And I'm just wondering, that parking lot has been falling apart for a while.
If it's a township parking lot, they will be required to restore it.
On Monmouth?
On Monmouth and Third
It's
Street.
privately owned.
Privately owned, because I remember years ago, the township was talking about
What,
putting
in
in a
between
parking
the
lot.
store and in between on Monmouth itself?
Yeah, between
think
the
that's
store
fine.
and between,
Fourth Street?
No, not on Fourth, on Monmouth itself.
Yeah, but I mean between.
The one behind it is township.
The
The one,
north
there's a big
side.
parking lot behind it, that's township owned.
That's
The
it,
one-
but the one in between the school and,
That's privately owned.
Private.
Second and third.
Okay.
Like opposite Todd Sullivan?
What?
Yeah, that's all right.
Opposite the parking lot that belongs to that's behind the library.
Yeah, correct.
Right next to the common school. Another thing is, I was speaking to someone, she lives on Vine Street, and she was wondering if you're putting in a playground in John Patrick Park, or whatever it's called.
There's already a playground in Patrick Park.
There is a playground? Oh, so
By
where's,
the concession building.
where's the concession building? I'll tell her.
It's the big building in between the baseball and the soccer fields.
Okay, I'll tell her.
There was a
about
playground put in there years ago. It needs to be expanded because we do have a lot more people in the area now. It's definitely something that we could have Public Works look into.
that. Okay. And also, I was here a few months ago, and you mentioned something about putting sidewalks on Oak Street before because you put in when you put the light on the Vine Street, there was, you took away the shoulders and put in the turning lanes, and you gave back some of the shoulders, but you mentioned something about putting in sidewalks. Was it ever done? I don't know.
No, yeah, you went back and took the lines back so that you now have the shoulders back there so you're able to walk safely. Part of it will be going in from Oak to the first house, that's there, that area, specifically to the intersection. That's where the planned sidewalks are.
Okay, is it gonna be like is it gonna be on the street, or is it gonna be like off the street?
That has to be planned, yeah. You mean like a few feet off, a little bit right against it?
As I'm saying, like you go down 14th by Hope, the sidewalk is literally on top of the street.
So there's a retaining wall, so it has to go close to the street.
Be well.
Thank you.
Samuel Greens, 36 Eagle Lane. I believe the board has a resolution. We were looking to put a forced main moving to a property on Hope Hill Lane. That's off of Hope Chapel in Lakewood.
We discussed it tonight.
Right. So I just wanted to give you a brief background, perhaps.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the sewer service ends approximately, I would say, 50% up on the block, so about 500 feet up. There was a problem with putting septic services because the adjacent properties had their well and septics too close. So we were in touch with New Jersey American Water, and we had different proposals for them, either bringing it on the back through Reagan, which they initially agreed to, and then subsequently reneged on that. And the next idea was to put a forced main in the right-of-way on Hope Hill, accessing two properties. We're in touch with them. I believe the township engineer has agreed that this is a project which he's okay with, and I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Oh, we're gonna go ahead with it. The issue we had tonight was all I had was a map that showed the proposed outline with no names, addresses,
Got it.
or anything else. I need that information, which we'll get together, we'll prepare these to the resolution and ordinance. I'm not sure at this point.
Okay.
But we'll put it on for the September 6th meeting.
So we can.
I
Is
don't
there
have any
any?
information. I mean, all I got tonight was a map
I
with the
can
line drawn out.
I can print it for you now if you like.
And really, the right way to do it is to do it at the next meeting. Steve, would that be a resolution or an ordinance that we have to do? Ordinance. All right, it's gonna take two readings.
I mean, I'll send me a phone call. When we discussed it, I was supposed to call you back after the meeting. And it just, you have to present to our attorney, have your attorney or your engineer talk to our attorney about the easement language that has to be in there. There's some whole harmless stuff, and the attorney has to review it, and that has to be put on for a resolution vote.
Okay. So can the committee, just for the record, commit to moving forward? So because there would be investment in our part.
I don't
to
have
do that.
anything to vote on, but if you're asking me if I intend to vote yes on the ordinance when it comes up, I can say I will vote.
Is there a way not to vote on it, but just, again, for the record, state the
There's
committee?
nothing legal that we can do for you.
It's not, I'm not asking for a legal commitment, but on
I
my
don't care
part.
about it.
If that agreement is agreed to by the attorney and you bring it up for vote, Mayor, I would vote for it.
I thought we
Really,
did that.
it's the legality of just having the paperwork in with all the language in it to make sure that the engineers and the attorneys are happy, and we'll do it. We'll first read it September 6th, second reading at the following meeting.
September 6th, right, okay.
Okay, so by October, everything should be done and in place for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Good evening, everybody. Joyce Blay, editor, reporter, NJ News and Views. That's Ann with an ampersand. I have a question here with regard to first reading of ordinance N2. This has to do with the Lakewood shuttle. Is this shuttle going to consist of buses that are leased from the Lakewood School District? I had filed an OPA request asking if they had executed the contract that Lakewood had already signed on the municipal side, and I was repeatedly told that the state monitor had not yet signed off on the agreement. Has that been executed, and is the Township of Lakewood now going to enter into a lease agreement with the district in order to supplement its shuttle fleet?
Tom, did we ever get that back?
No, we didn't.
Nope. Not yet.
Not yet.
We'd like to, if the school district approves it.
And I had another question with regard to the Lakewood shuttle. How many buses are currently on the road?
Tom, do you know how many are? Four with two in reserve?
Four
Four on the
buses?
road regularly with two kept in reserve.
And the last question I had with regard to this ordinance, how much did this shuttle bus, how much revenue did this shuttle bus generate since the beginning of the year?
We haven't put a fee schedule in yet, correct? That's the purpose of the ordinance, so we have not been collecting fees, so it has not collected revenue.
You're not collecting fees?
That's what this ordinance is for.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what was different. In other words, it was free before in order to generate interest in the
Now,
service.
for many years, one of the routes was run through the industrial park as a way to help people who didn't have access to cars get there safely. That's one of the ones that's continuing, and we're trying to build up the routes to get to a point where we can have more of a professional public transportation system.
How much did the service generate in revenue in 2017 and in 2016?
We didn't have it under our auspices, and it was the Jay's had it, right? For the first time.
I think that if anybody would know how much was generated, I think it was done through the UEZ office.
That was the shuttle bus, that the jobless bus, we didn't collect on that. That was a service of the UEZ for the businesses in town.
Yeah, but I think that the busing service gave their numbers, their income and expenses through the UEZ to keep track of what they were doing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll let Mayor follow up with the UEZ.
Did the expenses of the shuttle bus exceed the revenue that it
I
generated?
believe it is. I think that's why they walked away from it. In other words, do you want to say it? I don't know if you want me to.
I don't know if you're going to say so.
In other words, it was operating at a loss to the Finsting?
It was a free service for the industrial park. The
It was a
Lakewood
free
Jobless Bus.
service?
Correct.
You've never charged a fee?
To my knowledge, no.
It's interesting.
Thank you.
Including the time period when it was operated by Jay's bus service?
I was talking about the Lakewood Jobless Bus Shuttle. I don't know what the issues and the amounts that Jay did. So you'd have to check with them.
I'm a little confused. If it was a free service, why would Jay have?
I knew it.
Okay.
The Lakewood Jobless Bus was a free service to the people in the industrial park. That's the one that I was talking to you about. I wasn't referring to any of the shuttles that were run by Jay's after the fact.
So in other words, it is and always has been a free service.
It'll be whatever you're right.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to be heard tonight? Seeing nobody, anybody? Close the public hearing. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda you would like to move?
I'll move the consent agenda,
I'll second the
Mayor.
consent agenda.
Moved by Mayor, seconded by Minash. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Okay. Ordinances for second reading. As Steve had said at the beginning of the meeting, ordinance M1 is going to be killed. So at this point, Katie, let's go with ordinance M2.
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the exchange of certain lands within the Township of Lakewood, in particular the Township of Lakewood, to acquire block 445, lot 6, vacant land, no assigned address in the area of Columbus Avenue, and to convey block 1264, lot 1, vacant land, no assigned address in the area of Wick Street and Sherrock Street, as part of an exchange of lands pursuant to NJSA 48:12-16.
Open the meeting to the public. Would anybody like to be heard in this ordinance? Seeing nobody?
I believe it is imperative, Jerry Ballwin's Governor's Road. I believe it is imperative that the Township Committee vote no on this ordinance. There appears to be a great area of interpretation as to what the zoning is meant to be. On the first reading of the ordinance, and I also checked now, it is stated that it is in the B2 zone. However, this contradicts information on the county clerk website which says it is in the B5 zone. B2, B5, which zone is it in? But the greatest contradiction is illustrated in the smart growth plan. And it's illustrated under 3 different pages. Page 11 under figure 3.3, page 12 smart growth plan components, and page 19 highway nodes. The highway node coded in pink shows that the Home Depot site and then the highway zone then stops there west of Shorex Street at Route 70, and the area east of Shorex Street behind the Costco is not included in the highway node, all in here. The area east of Shorrock is depicted as OSP, meant to be green, open space preserved. In the smart growth plan, an argument that this gray area may be green is shown on page 21 of the proposed environmental preservation status. Under areas proposed include lands along the Cattle Creek near Route 70, and yes, the Cattle Creek flows through or near this tract of land. And then another area is undeveloped areas along Shorerock Street to be combined with existing green acres preserved land, which of course is all that green area that's behind the Home Depot on the west side of Shorerock, and then all the other trees that are on the east side of Shorerock. And then again, it says lands east of the Parkway along the township boundary with the Brick Township. However, this tract is not specifically coded for either the pink highway node nor for the green open space preservation area. So how was it decided that it was going to be in a B highway, in a highway development zone of B5 or B2, according to your ordinance resolution? And it would seem to make that it would be better quality of life that this whole gray area be designated as open space preservation. That's up to you to decide, because I think there is a question as to that. But however, I think the problem lies in the owners of the other 2 big lots, which are directly behind Costco, and they are the developers and owners of the shopping center. What might their intentions be? Do they plan to extend the shopping center into their area that they own? They own over 3 acres over there. Are they willing to buy the adjacent property that you want to now exchange? Or are they willing to sell their 3 acres? Or perhaps even donate it for open space? And that would be a lovely gesture if they could. Because of these questions and uncertainties and conflicts of just, what is to be done with this land, and it is, it doesn't say whether it's highway node or really specifically in the open space. I think it needs to be postponed. You need to vote no on this. I think further discussion needs to be done about really what is the purpose of that land. And I think, the greatest thing would be to just keep it all green, and whether or not the owners of those other 2 lots that are over 3 acres, they have to decide what they're going to do. But for you tonight to sell, to exchange this land would be wrong. Also, I noticed in the first reading you have land with a small lot that you're going to pay outright for the land. Why can't you do that for the land that is to be exchanged with, for this property? There's just too many questions, so please do not vote yes on this. Please vote no, so that it can have further discussion as to the real true value and, where that land should really be. It should stay trees, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Anybody else like to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing nobody, will close the public hearing. Is there a motion? For that particular ordinance, yes. Do you have a motion?
Mayor, I'm willing to make this motion. Can I motion it for discussion, because I have one question that I need answered first?
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mike.
I just want to be sure through the chair, I want to ask Tom. Tom, did we compare this against that list, right, of the properties that we were discussing for the deed restriction?
This was, came from the engineer's office where either the master plan or the smart growth plan call for changes to the zone or property use.
So you're comfortable with that?
If I'm very poor engineer,
And I'm asking, that list of the properties that we had with the DEP, this would have been vetted then also? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know.
I'm not certain of that.
I don't have that list.
So Mayor, I'm very much in favor of this. I would like to vote for it. My question is, if we vote on it and there's a question with the DEP, is there a way to rescind that back? In other words, what happens if we vote on
Yes,
it?
the answer to that is yes.
Yes, so if this is in fact on a list of properties that we told the DEP we would restrict for open space, even if we vote on it tonight, if we double check it afterwards, we're good to go.
You can do by ordinance and undo.
Very well. And Mayor, this is the part that you want in Prospect Park.
I just have one question. If you have a question on the ordinance, why you can pass it until we get the verification from DEP then, if that's the question? Or are we in a hurry to get it passed?
My intention would be to vote for it because I believe that the park that we're trying to get on Prospect is very desperately needed by the neighbors. It sounds like it's been vetted by our professionals. That was one question that I had. I don't want to assume that our professionals made a mistake on it.
Say it.
And that's exactly why I would do it now, because I think if we don't get moving on that park, it's never going to come. We've been talking about it for years.
Any other discussion? Have a roll call, please, Kate?
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes.
Ordinance carries. Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, pursuant to NJSA 48:21-1 and SEC granting abatement to local property taxes to 1400 through 1480 Ocean Avenue LLC, TA Heimdall Chrysler for facilities located at block 669, lots 10, 23, and 91, and authorizing the mayor and/or his designee and the township clerk to execute any and all documents necessary and proper to enter into a tax abatement agreement.
The application is for the property located at 1400 by 1480 Louis Gate. It's a property that's now built, we have the final sale, around 30 or 60 days. It's approximately 30,000 square foot, state-of-the-art, sales facility. Actually, the facility is being used for flagship dealership for question preparation, new. The creation of it to help the government of the tax abatement is essential, for the applicant being successful in that area. There are no lease agreements between the applicant and the owner occupied. It's going to create approximately 45 jobs in the facility in sales and maintenance. From the requirements, any questions that the board has for us?
Anybody have any questions? All right, we'll open the meeting to the public. Does anybody have any questions on this particular ordinance? Seeing nobody, we'll close the public hearing. Motion.
Second.
Moved by Mike, second by Mayor. Any discussion? Roll call.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Pepper, are you allowed to sign
Am I voting this ordinance?
Okay, number 3, ordinance of the Township of Lake, I'm sorry. Ordinance of the Township of Lake County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing the annual minimum and maximum salary ranges for the offices and positions of persons employed by the Township of Lakewood in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey, and providing for an effective date 20 days after publication after adoption, and creating the position of deputy registrar, keyboard, and clerk 3.
Thanks, Katie. Open the meeting to the public. Would anybody like to be heard on this ordinance? Are you here to speak on this particular ordinance?
No.
Sorry, wrong time.
Wrong time? Okay.
All right, did you come to speak at the public meeting?
Yeah.
All right, that was held at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
If you stay, once we finish the regular business, I'll be happy to open the meeting again. You can come up and speak for 4
Sure.
minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
in January, didn't it? You can do it annually.
Last year, and we don't have to do it, we don't have to do it every year.
Okay. That's what I'm hearing from
We don't
the
have to do it
professionals.
every year.
I think we're adding a new position here, which is why we're doing it now.
In other words, the position, most recently, your daughter in the position of assistant clerk, has that salary range been established yet?
That was established a long time ago in a prior salary ordinance.
It is a civil service position?
Yeah.
Do you know the salary range?
Off the top of my head, no.
And yet you are the county clerk.
Okay, so it's
If you have a question, Joe, please.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else like to be heard in this ordinance? See, nobody will close the public hearing? Motion by Mike. Second by Mayor. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public to a portion of Newport Avenue, said portions being south of Bellevue Avenue and north of Wenstrom Avenue in the Township of Lakewood.
I open the meeting on this ordinance only. Would anybody like to be heard?
I'm trying to understand why you gave us the hour. Why you gave us that 1 hour? So interested in how that 1 hour, and we can widen, so why do we have to?
Wasn't this the one that was extraordinarily wide? We're bringing it into regular standards.
Right, that's something like back in the years, and then that's the problem, is that people that, use the builder have years, like, look at my park.
This street was, I'm sorry, finish your comments.
My park was built in Philadelphia, there was not a line with Martin Luther Drive. Now, it's like a big problem now, because it's not a line with Martin Luther Drive. I'm saying, you gotta make the street hour and make it more in line, whatever. But, it's not gonna come.
The existing street was, I believe, 75 feet wide. What they're asking us to do is to reduce it to the 50-foot, which is what most of the wide streets in town are, and then realign it with the street across the street. Is that Newport? I don't remember the name. But they're going to realign it with the street across from it. See anybody else? Close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So made.
Moved by Mayor. Second by Minaj. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Ordinance passes. All right, ordinances for first reading, public hearing scheduled for September 6th, 2018.
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the tax collector to cancel any and all taxes for the tax year 2017 due on block 61, lot 4, 403 13th Street, Congregation Anisha Sarb, pursuant to in accordance with NJSA 54:4-3.6.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Mayor, second by Minaj. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Second hearing, September 6th.
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 2 entitled Administration by specifically creating Section 2-76.9 to establish the Lakewood shuttle and fee schedule for the same.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Moved by
Second.
Mike, second by Mayor. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Second hearing, public hearing, September 6th.
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 2 entitled Administration by specifically creating Section 2-76.10 to establish a fee schedule for vehicle truck washing.
Move it. Moved by Mayor, second by Minaj. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes.
Ordinance, carries second reading, public hearing scheduled for September 6, 2018.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the private sale of block 351, lot 3, vacant land, no assigned address in the area of Hatfield Avenue, and the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State, and New Jersey at private sale pursuant to NJSA 48:12-1 at second.
I'll move it. Mayor, second by Minaj. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes.
Second reading, public hearing on September 6, 2018. Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State, New Jersey, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of a public road, paper street known as Chevy Lane.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mayor.
For, purpose of discussion, just so
Purpose of discussion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mike. Discuss away.
I'm sure, I was not here, Mayor, at the previous, so I'm sure this was looked at. I just want to be sure that there's a lot of little lots that come out onto this property that once was in tax sale, that was all covered in
The
this.
homeowners association have requested that it be made into a private street. It's not being vacated to eliminate it, it's being vacated so that it can turn into a private street for that particular development.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mayor.
Second.
That was already. Roll call, please.
Roll call, sorry.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes.
Ordinance passes second reading, public hearing September 6, 2018. Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the acquisition of block 490, lot 27 in the area of Johnson Avenue, as shown on the tax map of the Township of Lakewood pursuant to and in accordance with NJSA 48:12-1 et sec.
What's that? Okay.
Oh, that's right. We got a late communication, Mayor, from the attorney for
Which is why we do.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that before. That's-
All right. Seeing no motion, that dies for lack of a motion. Number 7, Kate?
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the private sale of block 2.001, lot 32, no assigned address in the area of Clear Stream Road in the Township of Lakewood County, Ocean State, New Jersey, a private sale pursuant to NJSA 48:12-1 et sec.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Mike. Second. Second by Minaj. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Ordinance passes.
Ordinance passes second reading,
September 6th.
public hearing September 6.
Number 8.
Ordinance of the Township of Lakewood County of Ocean State of New Jersey, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public of a portion of a paper street known as Bushwick Avenue in the Township of Lakewood.
Do we have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mayor. Second. Second by Mike. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. Any correspondence?
No.
All right. Motion to approve the bill list of August 15th.
Second.
All in favor? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delia?
Yes.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Coles?
Yes. In honor of my last meeting as a 50-year-old, I'm going to reopen the meeting to the public. If you'd like to speak, come forward at this point. I hope I don't regret this. Just name and address to the record, please.
My address is Madam Block 777 Block 6, I work at 9 Henry Street.
I'm sorry, your name, sir?
My name is Edwin. So I just they go to parameters and I moved down to Monaco and I just said down for it and the reason why that's 1.5, the street level is that's going to be high, going all the way right there to my basement, water department coming out of the sewer. And even though the issue is it's not like we're going water to sewer, all people water go up there and start. I just feel like it's something weird. I know the houses will show up with all the, engineering involved and approved, I don't, without that, but I feel like there's something wrong. It's very urgent. I can't like the red, but then the rain, after the pump, I don't know what's next, and right now.
Yeah, one of your neighbors was here during the public portion, I think from 105 Henry.
Okay.
We're going to have the engineering department out there hopefully tomorrow to start investigating and see what's going on. I'm also going to have Public Works go out there just to make sure the storm drain is clear, that there's nothing clogging it.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Thank you so much. And just to add,
like on my basement, they did the house high enough, so the water doesn't go in, but the water was coming out of the rain, even though nothing, even though.
Slowing down.
The inside was blocked up.
This one we had Monday was something that I've never seen
Right,
before,
I
so.
know.
But he said that it's been there for months, we will look into it, we'll do what we have to do to fix the problem. All right, welcome to town. All right, we'll reclose the meeting. Motion to adjourn, so made.
No comments from committee members?
Well, I'd like to wish the mayor happy birthday.
That's what I wanted to do, wish the mayor a happy birthday.
Thank you.
You don't look a day over 49.
I don't feel a day over any. No offense.
Second.
Good night, everybody, get home safely.
I guess everybody was in favor.
I guess so. The turn railroad between 88 and 101.
Hasn't been brought to me.
I would never, we never were voted.
Joyce. Joyce, by the way, that ordinance.
Never say never.
What do you want?
By the way, that ordinance was not for the deputy clerk position, if you read it, it's the registrar, so what did that have to do with the deputy?
I'll do my best.
Okay, so.
If you want to follow into a column, it sounds like.
We'll have trouble to say look into it. I'll be honest with you, to change things over like that is very difficult because everybody who's right along here has to have same. Unless there's a real serious safety issue, I'm trying not to overturn.
When I did, when did you do that?
What's that?
Because I don't know about the, I didn't see what the range was, you didn't ask me what the salary
Well,
was.
it sometimes happen. I'm not saying we wouldn't do it, but it's not something that we do like. Guys, stop.
You want me to get you?
Stop. If it's a request, send out an open request for all the salaries in town.
Here's the issue, it's important that we, we're gonna have to this payment for the ship. So that's your call.
No, they could walk, they want to do this. No problem, I'll get a replacement tomorrow. Maybe for the town,
That's fine, because then what's gonna happen is the township takes it in, and it was my fault, and normally it's made directly to Phoenix, but then it comes No, that's okay, no, it's all right, it actually works.